We got some bad news if you're excited for Raw and Netflix. Plus, Triple H has confirmed a big return, and there's another return that's looming. We're going to talk about that all right here on The Ango Show. Welcome back to The Ango Show, ladies and gentlemen. Let's kick things off with Big E. I know the New Day turned heel on Big E. It was one of those emotional segments, one of the best segments, one of the best heel turns, in my opinion. Just a really good segment. But it doesn't seem like WWE did it for no reason. WrestleVotes has been discussing Big E's hiatus and his status. And what WrestleVotes is basically being told is that WWE is keeping it very, very quiet regarding Big E. They don't know if he is cleared or not cleared, but WrestleVotes believes that he might be close to being cleared. He can't report that. He can't say it with certainty, but it seems like WWE's segment of that heel turn is actually, there's more to come from it. I tweeted about it. I talked about it before. I genuinely believe that Big E is cleared. I believe that he'll be ready for WWE television. And I actually do believe that segment with Kofi and Xavier Woods talking about Big E not coming back, I think that was actually really, really well done. And I think that was planting the seed for Big E's eventual return. Now, whether it happens this month or next month or whatever it may be, I think WWE is going to do something that shocks the world. And listen, I think Big E's situation is just so crazy. It's so crazy because it's been years since we've seen him. Then he comes back and he says, I'm going to be with you guys every single week. I'm going to manage you guys. We're going to do this. Then they hit us with that heel turn. Obviously, when Big E returns, it's going to be a massive, massive pop. It's going to be a massive, massive moment. I don't know, guys, if I'm just fantasy booking here, maybe if I'm just being optimistic here, but I would actually kind of like Big E to swerve everybody. Because that moment he comes out, let's just imagine this for a second. Let's imagine Kofi and Xavier Woods are doing a beatdown on somebody, and it looks like Big E's going in to make the save, but he also turns heel. That would be the most insane moment ever. Like, that would be really, really well done. I don't think WWE would do that, but I would love that to happen because all three united as the New Day, as a heel faction, would just bring so much joy. And I would love watching that. But I just think in general, they are setting up Big E's return. I genuinely believe he's cleared. I don't think they're going to pull the trigger just yet. I think they're going to want to make sure everything is fine first, but I am super excited about that possibility. Okay, guys, that brings us to our next topic of today's video. Triple H has confirmed Pat McAfee is returning to WWE full-time. He says letting the cat out of the bag a little bit right now. Pat's actually about to come back with us here full-time on Monday Night Raw. He was talking about this at the Netflix and WWE launch event. This is where things get really interesting because there had been rumors that maybe Pat McAfee would not return. I want to add a little bit to this. Currently, as it stands, Raw has a commentary team of 2. SmackDown has a commentary team of 2. SmackDown, you got Corey Graves and you got Michael Cole. On Raw, you got Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett. I'm very, very thrilled with the performance of Joe Tessitore. I think he's done a really good job on WWE Raw. And I think WWE is going to switch things up a little bit. I think they are going to commit to the 2-man commentary teams, but I think Wade Barrett will be moved back down to NXT, replacing Booker T. I think Joe Tessitore and Pat McAfee will actually be a really, really good duo for Monday Night Raw. You get that comedy feel. You get a little bit of that, off the script commentary, but Joe Tessitore also brings that legitimate sports action feel to the show. Obviously with WWE on Netflix, it's going to be a very big deal for them to have like the best presentation. Commentary is going to be a big deal for that. I can also see Michael Cole and Pat McAfee doing Raw, and then Corey Graves and Joe Tessitore doing SmackDown. I don't see Wade Barrett being on the main roster as a commentator. However, there are rumors that maybe even Wade Barrett will get back in the ring for one more run, which I don't know if we should take that with any grain of salt, but obviously that is something to also consider. Triple H did not confirm when Pat McAfee will be back full-time, but January 6th, Monday Night Raw, it could make a lot of sense for Pat McAfee to be there on the debut episode of Raw on Netflix. So it's obviously something to pay attention to. The one thing I want to say, though, And Pat McAfee kind of throws a wrench in the plans. And I don't hate Pat McAfee. I actually really am a massive fan of his work. But I just want to throw this out there. Every time he leaves WWE, I kind of get a little sad because he goes and does these other projects. And I think Pat McAfee is just such a great commentator. I just wish he was there all the time. Like, I wish he wasn't doing game day and NFL stuff and college football stuff and ESPN stuff. Like, I wish it was just the Pat McAfee show and then WWE. Like, that's what I would genuinely hope for. Obviously, it's cool that he gets those other opportunities, and I don't blame him for taking them. But I just think Pat McAfee's a really, really, really good commentator. He makes WWE product even a little bit more fun, especially when you see some of these big segments and these big moments. Like, I think he just adds to it, and I look forward to seeing what happens. I'm glad Triple H has confirmed this though, because there had been rumors that he might not be coming back, and that seems to happen every single time he takes a break from WWE. So I'm glad those rumors are being put to rest. We'll see what happens. But that does lead us to our next topic, paying attention to Raw and Netflix. WWE, Triple H, Nick Khan, they confirmed something that I am not a fan of. This is bad news for WWE, Raw, and Netflix, because there's been so much speculation. Triple H himself has even talked about this. And now it's weird because the tone has completely changed. But Nick Khan told Sports Illustrated on Tuesday that WWE will not be changing the rating of its programming and will remain PG. This is really crazy. He says, we're not changing the rating of our programming. There's some online chatter about, oh, it's going to be rated R or rated X. That's definitely not happening. It's family-friendly, multi-generational, advertiser-friendly programming. It's going to stay that way. I will look for more global flair, especially as the relationship with Netflix continues to develop. I get it. I understand why WWE is doing this, but Triple H literally talked about it on an interview saying, hey, like, we could do whatever with Netflix. Like, you know, it sounded like they were going to be done with the censoring. Listen, I understand if WWE wants to play it safe because of advertising dollars. I get it. They chose to go PG. They made that decision. They weren't forced to go PG as a company in general. I understand why they want to make the most advertising revenue, and I get it. I understand that part of the business. That's fine. Okay. Completely fine. However, the one thing I will say, it was a massive problem on Fox and it's a massive problem on USA Network. For the love of God, WWE on Netflix, please stop censoring the crowd when they swear. When they swear and you hear the censors, it's back and forth, back and forth. It sounds like shit. It ruins the product. It's ruining promos. At the very least, I cannot imagine how the crant chanting anything is going to cost WWE advertising dollars. And maybe I'm ridiculously dumb and naive. I just can't see, if WWE is not programming the swearing and all that stuff, I can't see why that should be impacted. So for the love of God, at least turn off the censors when it comes to the crowd. The crowd chants being censored really hurts the product. It really hurts some key moments on Raw, and it really hurts some key moments on SmackDown, especially when you got The Rock. And like, I just don't want to see that as a thing. So yeah, I do think it's bad news. I get why they're doing it. I don't like why they're doing it. And it is what it is.